Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to Ruhoni Sewing. This is part 2 of the series on how to draft bodice pattern for children. Today we are going to draw a pattern using a different method. We call this method 2, and after that we are going to compare with the pattern that we have drawn with the first method, method A, and I have linked the first video in the description box below. Here are the materials needed. We have our rulers, straight ruler, curved ruler, and square ruler. We have the pencil, rubber. We have our tape measure as well as our pattern paper. These are the standard measurements that I'm going to use, okay? And I will use these ones for a 4-year-old child. And you can see here there are other measurements which are not here for the neck, back width, and front length. They are missing, so whenever needed I'm going to make some adjustment. Now let us start to draw our pattern. We are going to start with the back pattern. First we are going to measure the neck width. Remember our neck width is 5 centimeters. We put a mark, and then later we are going to measure the neck depth. For the back we have 1.5 centimeters. Okay, then you take your square ruler, square down, and then square across as shown, and then label number 1, number 2, number 3, and 4. Now from 1, measure half of the shoulder measurement. This is not the shoulder length, this is a whole shoulder measurement, but you are measuring half of it. Ours is 25.5, so half of it is 12.8, and we are going to number this point as number 5. Then with our square ruler we are going to square down. Take your tape measure again. Measure 2 centimeters. Then connect to point 2 and label that point there as 6. Now we want to get our bust line. Divide bust measurement by 6. Here we are going to have 9.3. Put a mark, and then from this mark add 5 centimeters. Put a mark there. Then take your ruler and square across exactly as shown here. Now that is our number 7, and that is going to be our bust line. Then take your tape measure and measure quarter of your bust measurement, which is 14. Then we are going to plus 1 centimeters for ease. Put a mark and label there as 8. Now we are going to measure the back length from number 3. Our back length is 23. Put a mark. Take your ruler and square across. Label that point as 9. Then after, take your square ruler and square from point 8 downwards. Label that as 10, and that line is your waist line. So now here we want to get the line for the back width measurement. That is a back width line. What we are going to do, we are going to measure the distance from number 3 to 4. Remember it was 14.3. Divide by 2 to 7.2. Okay, 7.2, that is our number 11. Then we take our square ruler and we are going to square across. So like I said before, in this chart there is no standard measurement for the back width, so we are going to use the formula from the method A, where we are going to take the shoulder length measurement, which is 8 centimeters plus 4, that is 12. That is our back width measurement. So it is here, you put a mark and label it as 12. Then connect point 6, 12 and 8 to get the back arm side or the back armhole. You can do this freely by your hand, or you can use a curved ruler, which is easier. Then let us move on to our front bodice. Again, we are going to measure the neck width. Remember, it is 5 centimeters. Label that point as 2. Our intersection is number 1. Then measure the neck depth. If you remember, the neck depth from our first method is 6 centimeters. Take your square ruler. First square across, then square down. This is not necessary. You can draw the front neckline directly. Now draw your front neckline. So now with labeling, this one is 3 and that one is 4. And so from number 1, measure half of the shoulder measurement, which is, if you remember, it is 12.8. Label that point there as 5. Take your square ruler and square down. Take your tape measure and measure 2.5 centimeters. Label that point as 6 and now connect 6 to point 2. From 1, measure your bust measurement, divide by 6. If you remember this, we are getting our bust line. Then add 5 centimeters. Put a mark, that is your number 7. Take your square ruler, square across. That is your bust line. Then measure quarter of your bust measurement, which is 14. Again, you are going to add 1 centimeter for ease. Put a mark and label that point as 8. Then from 1, measure the front length, that is the shoulder to waist measurement. Here is 26. Put a mark. Take your ruler and square across. Then square down from number 8. So that is 9 and that one there is 10. Now we want to get our chest line. Remember this distance here, it is 14.3. Half of it is 7.2. Okay, put a mark. Take your square ruler, square across. So that is your chest line. There you have your bust line, and lastly you have your waistline. Now for the chest measurement, remember for the back width, how we got the back width, we took the shoulder length plus 4 centimeters. So the back width differs from the chest by 0.5 centimeters. It is less, the chest measurement is less by 0.5 from the back width. So here measure 11.5. You put your mark and label as 11. Then take your square ruler and square from point 11 going downwards, just like that. Then join 6, 11 and 8 using your curved ruler. First join 6 and 11 with a slightly curved line. Then now it is time for 11 and 8 points. draw your curved line. Here is our armhole. So here we are done. Now let us cut our patterns. And here they are. Okay, so now let us compare our patterns. These are the back patterns. They are drafted from different methods. The left one is from method A and the right one is from method B. Okay, the second method. So now let us take our patterns side by side. As you can see, they were drafted from different measurement for the bust as well as for the back length. Otherwise, you see here at the arm side, if we had the same measurement, it would have been the same. Okay, as well as for the back length. So these are the front pattern. I have already mentioned that we had different bust measurement. The left one we had 71 and the right one is 56. So here they are side by side and you see the difference in the position of the chest and the bust. This pattern on the right, I use the actual measurement of the front length from the shoulder to waist, while this one on the left, we use the formula to get that length. So after all this, what have we learned? What are the lessons learned? Here they are. So our first lesson is both methods can be used. Okay, one thing to note is method A, you must have the actual measurement. With this method, you can get measurement from the internet and use them to draw your pattern. So with the second method, you need the actual measurement. Measure the child. What I've noticed with this method, like I said, it can be used, this method can be used for both, but because when we take, for example, to go back to our pattern, when we are looking at the lines, okay, you see they have different positions. It is because we use 56 here centimeters for the bust, and the bottom one we has used 71. Remember how we got this line? We divided the bust by 6, then we added 5 centimeters. So if it were 71, then this line would have been a bit lower, and also the other line would have been also a bit lower. And you could have seen that they would have been of the same distance if I used the same measurement for the bust. Now coming to the second lesson, when you don't have the actual measurement and you want to sew a dress or a trouser, you will look for the measurement from the internet. My advice is please do not rely on one source. Okay? Make sure you search from different sources and compare. What I have learned or what I have noticed, these measurements for the same age group, they differ a lot from different sources. So please compare or even find an average for that measurement, but do not rely on one source. So moving on to our last lesson, from the Bluebell Studio method, that is method A, can be used really for me to find out for young children, because you cannot measure them. You know when they are young, 1 to 2 years, they cannot really stand still for you to get the measurement. So you can rely on the measurement from the internet, like I told you, search from different sources, and you get the measurement. But for the second method, method B, make sure you have all the measurement required. Older children can concentrate, they can listen while you are taking their measurements. And the other thing, when they get old, they have different sizes. So it is better for you to get the actual size from them. So my dear viewers, we've come to an end of our tutorial of drafting bodice pattern for children. I've shown you method A and B. Method A video, I have linked it in the description box below. So it is up for you to choose which method you prefer the most. Okay, I hope I've not confused you, and thank you very much for watching my video.